Hi, Shane. I know you had a question about problem number 6 from the 5-2 My Math Lab homework. So it looks like you were able to do the first part correctly, where you found I guess, the sample space, right? Question A says determine the sample space of the experiment. So you have three people, Roberto, Marco, and Clarice. And I guess the letters we use for them would be R, M, and C, R, M, and C. And two of these three are going to go to some conference, right? So to be fair, we're going to put the names in a hat and we'll select two names out of that hat. Um, so if we take a look, right, the different combinations we can do here would be Roberto and Marco, that's RM, Roberto and Clarice, that's RC, and then Marco and Clarice, that's MC, right? So it looks like you selected this correctly, right? So it looks like the number of possible outcomes would be 3, right? And if we take a look at our trusty formula sheet, right, the probability of event E would be the number of ways that E can occur over the number of possible outcomes, right? So we only have 3 outcomes in this case, right? RM, RC, MC. And the number of ways that Marco and Clarice can attend, well, let's see, well, MC would be Marco and Clarice. So there's only really one option out of these 3. So I would say 1/3 would be the probability that Marco and Clarice both attend the conference, right? Because you look at this as Roberto and Marco, so that's no good. Roberto and Clarice, that's no good. But we're looking for Marco and Clarice. So there's only one chance that that will happen out of 3. So we would write 1/3. But now the probability that Roberto stays home, we have a couple of options here. One, we could just look at your sample space and see which situation would Roberto be at home. So RM, Roberto would be going to the conference. RC, Roberto's still going to the conference. But MC, Roberto's staying home. Only Marco and Clarice would go. So there's only 1 out of 3 chances that Roberto would stay home, right? There's 2 chances out of 3 that he would go. There's only 1 out of 3 chances that he would stay. So I would write 1/3, or 1 out of 3. Another way you could look at this, let me pull up my formula sheet again, would be the complement, right? If you do 1 minus the probability of E, that's the complement of E. Okay, so remember, we found P of E here, right? The number of ways an event can occur out of the number of possible outcomes. So let's take a look. If you were to look at this problem another way, what's the probability that Roberto goes to the conference? Right here it says, what's the probability that Roberto stays home? But if I want to know what's the probability that Roberto actually goes to the conference, well, that's 2 choices out of 3. So 2/3 Roberto goes to the conference, right? RM, RC, that's 2 out of 3 Roberto would go to the conference. The complement would be 1 minus 2/3. Right, so if P of E, he goes to the conference is 2/3, the complement would be 1 minus 2/3, which would give us 1/3, right? 1 minus 2/3 is 1/3. All right, so there's really more than one way to do this problem, right? We could figure out all the ways that he goes and then take the complement. So all the ways that he goes would be 2 out of 3, and then we would do 1 minus 2/3, which is 1/3. We could also just look at the sample space and see, okay, Roberto stays home. Well, MC means Roberto stays home because Marco and Clarice are going, so 1 out of 3 would be your answer for letter C. I hope this helps a little bit. I'm just happy to see that you folks haven't given up and you keep trying, and I've seen many of you are going back to rework missed problems to improve your grade, so keep up the great work. We're in week 6. We only have 2 more weeks to go. You guys are doing great. All right, take care. Thank you for watching.